What happens when a franchise's heartbeat suddenly starts beating for another team? When a player who wasn't just on the team, but who was the team, packs his bags and walks away. For every single fan in the dog pound, this is more than just a news alert. This feels personal, because Nick Chubb, the human wrecking ball, the quiet leader, the soul of Cleveland's ground game for 7 unforgettable years, is no longer a Cleveland Brown. The ink is dry. The deal is done. Nick Chubb has officially signed a 1-year deal with the Houston Texans. And let's be crystal clear, this isn't just some minor roster tweak for Houston. This is a seismic shift in the landscape of the AFC. This is a team that was already on a meteoric rise, a team with a bona fide superstar in C.J. Stroud, looking at the rest of the league and saying, we're not just here to compete anymore, we're here to conquer. For 7 seasons, Nick Chubb was the definition of Cleveland football. He was grit, he was power, he was the one constant through coaching carousels and quarterback controversies. He was the North Star in a sky full of flickering lights. We saw him carry the offense on his back, time and time again. A punishing force of nature that defenses had to game plan for and still couldn't stop. But then came the injury, the devastating knee injury that put a question mark not just on his season, but on his career. The football world held its breath and wondered, could he ever be that guy again? Well, the Houston Texans just answered that question with a multi-million-dollar exclamation point. They believe, and that belief should send a shiver down the spine of every defensive coordinator in the league. Think about what they're building down in H-Town. You have one of the brightest defensive minds in Bobby Slowick calling the shots. You have a quarterback in C.J. Stroud who plays the game with the poise of a 10-year veteran. You already added a legitimate weapon in Joe Mixon, and now you add Nick Chubb. This isn't a one-man show. This is about weaponizing the backfield. This isn't thunder and lightning. This is thunder and a Category 5 hurricane. Imagine the play-action possibilities. Imagine the red zone nightmares. A defense has to decide, do you stack the box to stop a rejuvenated Nick Chubb, or do you drop back to cover Nico Collins and Tank Dell, and risk letting C.J. Stroud pick you apart? There are no good answers. That's the point. The Texans are no longer asking their young quarterback to be a magician on every play. They've given him the ultimate safety net, a closer, a guy who knows how to grind out the tough yards and slam the door shut in the fourth quarter. Now, for us in Cleveland, seeing those first images of Chubb in Houston blue, it's jarring. It's a gut punch, but this is the brutal reality of the NFL. It's a league of chapters. And while Chubb's Cleveland chapter is closed, his next one in Houston could be his most compelling yet. He's walking in with more than just talent. He's walking in with a chip on his shoulder the size of Texas. He's heard the whispers. He's seen the doubts. And that's fuel. That is the kind of motivation that turns a great player into a legend. The Texans didn't just sign a running back. They signed a statement. They signed a veteran leader for a young locker room. They signed championship habits. And they sent a message to the AFC South and beyond. The future is now. But as one door closes on a Cleveland legend, whispers are getting louder that the Browns might be secretly building a new entrance for the future of football itself. Let's talk about the Sanders family. Because when prime time is involved, you don't just get football news, you get a chess match. And the king in this game, his son, Shedeur Sanders, the electrifying quarterback from Colorado who has the college football world in the palm of his hand. Officially, he's a top prospect for the 2025 draft. But behind the scenes, a story is brewing that no one saw coming. A story that connects Shedeur deeply and personally to one specific NFL franchise, the Cleveland Browns. This isn't your typical draft rumor. This is a trail of breadcrumbs that seems to be leading directly to the shores of Lake Erie. Exhibit A, the cryptic comment. During a recent podcast, Shedeur was asked about his NFL future. He smirked and said, "There's one team I'd definitely play for, and they know who they are. It's all about family. It's all about loyalty. Family and loyalty." Keep those words in mind. Exhibit B, the wardrobe choice. Days later, on a casual Instagram live,
And
What
now,
colors
with
was
a
he
new
wearing?
team, a
Brown
new city,
and orange.
and a new
A
mission,
coincidence?
he has everything
With the
to gain
Sanders
and
family,
nothing to lose.
there are no
The Texans
coincidences.
are betting on his
There is
comeback,
only
and
strategy.
history has shown that
Exhibit
betting on
C,
Nick Chubb is
the
usually
family
a safe
ties.
move.
This
If he
goes
stays
deeper
healthy,
than colors
if he
and
finds
comments.
his rhythm,
Sources close
they're
to
not
the
just trying to
situation
win
say
it. They're
Shedeur
trying
has
to
a
own
legitimate
it.
brotherhood with
Adding
key
Nick
members of the
Chubb
Browns'
sends a
young
message
core.
to every team
Forged in the
division.
fires of Elite
We're
7
not
on
waiting
7
anymore.
camps
We're
back in
coming
high
for it
school.
now.
They don't
This
just
isn't
know
a
of each
move
other.
you make unless you
They've
believe.
trained together.
Your window
They've
is
competed
open.
together.
And judging
They
by the
trust
way
each
this
other.
roster is shaping
And who
up,
was
that
reportedly
belief
spotted
isn't
at a
misplaced.
private Sanders
From
family
top to
gathering
bottom,
last month?
the Texans are
A
quietly
Browns
assembling
assistant
one of the
coach.
most balanced
When you
and
connect these
intriguing
dots,
rosters
a
in the
picture
conference.
begins to form.
Chubb's
While
arrival
Deshaun
might just
Watson's
be the
massive
final
contract
piece
is
that
still
turns
on the
potential
books,
into
the
performance.
Browns are a
And if
franchise
they stay
desperately
healthy,
seeking a new
don't
identity,
be
a
surprised
new
if
culture,
they're playing
a new
meaningful
face to
football
lead them
well
into the next
January.
era.
Analysts
Imagine an
across the
offense
league
built
have
around
already
Shedeur's
started
dual threat
revising their
talent,
projections.
surrounded
Some
by
are calling
players he
Houston
already
a top
considers
5
family,
offense on paper.
coached by men
Others
who
are
have been in
predicting
his
a Pro
corner
Bowl
from the beginning.
resurgence for Chubb.
This isn't
But
just about
beyond
a
the stats
team
and
drafting a
predictions,
player.
there's a more
This could be about a
intangible
player
storyline
choosing his team.
This is about culture,
Now,
about
the skeptics will
building
say
something
this is all just a
sustainable.
brilliant
When you bring in
marketing
a guy
play
like
by the
Chubb, you're not
Sanders
just
camp.
chasing
A
highlights.
way to
You're
create
investing in
buzz and
character,
drive up his
in
draft stock.
consistency, in
Maybe,
championship
but
habits.
here's why
The
that theory
Texans are
doesn't
growing
quite hold up.
fast.
Shedeur
And this
Sanders
signing is a
doesn't need
reflection
more
of that
hype.
maturity.
He is the hype.
They're not throwing money
If
at
anything,
a name. They're
this
making
whole
calculated
situation
moves
feels
designed
too
to
quiet,
create synergy,
too
not just
deliberate.
sizzle. And
It
that's
feels
what
like a
makes
plan
it so
being
compelling.
carefully
It's not
executed in the
just smart,
shadows,
it's
away
savvy.
from the national
It's
media
a team that
circus.
finally understands
And
who
let's
it is
not
and
forget
what
the
it
man
needs.
behind the
And that
curtain,
presence can be
Dion
transformational.
Primetime Sanders.
He won't be the loudest
A man who has always
he
preached
never
legacy,
has been.
purpose,
But when you line
and
up next to a
loyalty
guy
over
like
everything.
Nick Chubb,
If
you
Dion
raise
has a
your game.
say in where
That's
his son
just what
lands,
happens.
and you
in a
better
young
believe he
locker
does,
room hungry for
the Browns
success,
might just be the
that could
perfect
be the
fit.
secret weapon.
A blue-collar
no one's
city, a
talking
passionate
about.
fan base,
From a
and a
strategic
chance for
standpoint,
Shedeur
this
to
signing
not
could
just
be
be
a
another
masterstroke.
high-draft
Chubb
pick,
isn't just a
but
bruiser.
to be a
He's
franchise
a smart,
savior.
instinctual
To build
runner
something
who
from the
reads
ground
blocks
up,
and makes subtle
with his
cuts that
guys,
keep drives
on his
alive.
terms.
He's a
Some
closer.
insiders are
Think
even
about
pointing
late-game
to potential
situations.
business
When defenses
alignments.
are gassed and
Whispers
games
of a
hang in the
major
balance.
Ohio-based
That's
brand entering
where
preliminary
Chubb
talks
thrives.
with Shedeur's
That's where the
representatives,
Texans have struggled
preparing
in the
for a
past.
post-draft
Too many
marketing
close
blitz.
games slipping away.
You don't make those
Too
kinds
many
of
missed
moves unless you have a
Chubb
pretty
can
good
change
idea
that.
of where the
He
pieces
doesn't
are going
need
to
30
land.
carries to make
So,
an impact.
is it happening?
He can do it in 10.
Is Shedeur
He
Sanders
can do it
on
in
a
1.
quiet path
And in a
to the
league
dog pound?
defined by moments,
Nothing is
sometimes
official,
that's all
but the
you
smoke
need.
is getting
A
thicker.
breakaway run.
Forget the
A
excess
third
and
short
O's for a
conversion.
moment.
A tone
This
setting
story
drive.
is about
The
DNA.
Texans brought
The DNA
him
of
in
a
for those
family that
moments.
builds
Because
empires,
those moments when
and the
added up
DNA
become
of a
wins.
city
And
starving
wins
for a king.
become playoff
And right
bursts.
now,
And
all
playoff
signs
bursts
point to a
become
potential
belief.
coronation
But let's
in
zoom
Cleveland.
out for a second
In a
and
league
look
of
at what
cold,
this really means
hard
for the AFC
transactions,
South.
this
With
feels
the Titans
different.
retooling,
It feels
the Colts rebuilding,
like family.
and the Jaguars
And
trying
that,
to stay relevant,
more than anything,
the division is
might be the
wide
secret
open.
no one was
And
expecting.
Houston